They said Tupac Shakur was more than just a rapper. He was a prophet in disguise. His words weren't just lyrics. They were warnings. From the beginning of his career, Tupac's music felt like it came from someplace deeper, darker. There was always pain in his poetry, a desperation in his message, and a strange sense that he was being watched by enemies in the shadows and forces far beyond the physical world. In interviews, Tupac often spoke about death, not as something he feared, but as something he expected. Again and again, he described dreams where he was gunned down, sometimes by people he trusted. He said he felt cursed, like he was living on borrowed time. In one interview, just a year before he died, he looked into the camera and said, "I might not be alive next year, but my message will be." Many fans believe he was trying to tell us something he wasn't allowed to say directly. His lyrics, like "I see death around the corner," or "Every breath I take is a step closer to the end," now sound like whispers from the other side. Some songs even mention the exact way he would die: bullets, betrayal, a city far from home. Too specific to be coincidence. Studio engineers who worked with Tupac in his final months said he became withdrawn and paranoid. He would show up late at night, eyes heavy, speaking about demons in disguise and being watched through mirrors. Sometimes he would stop recording mid-sentence, looking into empty corners of the room, then say, "It's here again." There was one incident that still haunts those who were there. During a late-night session, as Tupac was laying down vocals, all the studio equipment suddenly glitched. The monitors flashed, audio distorted, and a strange, low voice echoed back through the headphones. The words weren't in English. No one could explain it. After that night, Tupac didn't return to that studio again. It was as if he knew his time was running out, as if he wasn't just rapping about death, but being pulled toward it. Or maybe, just maybe, he was already part of something beyond death. A voice that never belonged to this world in the first place. And if that's true, then what else has he left behind, still echoing through his music, waiting to be heard? It was a warm night in Las Vegas, September 13th, 1996. Tupac Shakur was riding in a black BMW, the city lights reflecting off the windshield like flickering stars. He had just left a boxing match and was headed to a nightclub. But he never made it. At exactly 11:15 p.m., another car pulled up beside him. In a sudden burst of violence, gunshots shattered the calm desert air. Tupac was hit multiple times, blood soaked through his clothes, and yet he survived the first attack. He was rushed to the hospital. The doctor said he was stable. He even regained consciousness, cursing the pain and trying to speak. But 6 days later, he was pronounced dead, or so we were told. The official story is filled with holes. No security footage from the intersection. No clear suspects arrested. Witnesses changed their statements. The only confirmed fact? Tupac was silenced. But the mystery didn't end in the hospital. It began there. According to a nurse who later came forward anonymously, Tupac's body vanished briefly during the night. She said it was as if someone or something intervened. Hours later, a closed-casket funeral was arranged. His body was cremated the very next day. The man who performed the cremation reportedly disappeared. Just gone. No trace, no explanation. Fans noticed something else. Tupac's final album, released under the name Machiavelli, had cover art showing him crucified. The songs on that album? Full of cryptic messages, references to death, betrayal, and even resurrection. In one track he raps, "Expect me like you expect Jesus to come back." That wasn't just music. That was a message. Some say he planned everything, that the shooting was staged, that the chaos was part of an escape, that he faked his own death to flee something darker, something that had already claimed others in the industry. Others believe the opposite, that he truly died that night. But his spirit never left, that it was trapped in the energy of that moment, repeating over and over again. Years later, people still report seeing someone who looks exactly like Tupac. Older, quieter, watching from the crowd at concerts, disappearing before anyone can get close. And sometimes deep in the Las Vegas desert, when the air is still, locals say you can hear a faint rhythm, a beat, and a voice echoing from nowhere whispering verses no one has ever heard before. After Tupac's so-called death, things moved too quickly. Within just 24 hours, the body was reportedly cremated. No public viewing, no clear photos, no final confirmation from family or fans. The official autopsy was sealed, And the cremator, the man responsible for the final step, vanished without a trace. His name was Frank Alexander. He never gave a final statement. And those who looked for him after? They say it was like chasing a ghost. Even stranger, Tupac's physical descriptions in the autopsy report didn't fully match known details: height, weight, tattoos. Fans began to ask, was the body even his? Then there was the story of the 7-day theory, the hidden numerology inside Tupac's final album. He was shot on September 7th, died on September 13th. The album Machiavelli was released posthumously with eerie, prophetic lyrics, all pointing to the number 7 again and again. Fans obsessed over the patterns, believing Tupac left a trail, clues, like breadcrumbs through a spiritual maze. Some believe the cremation never happened, that Tupac was smuggled out of the hospital, taken underground by those who believed in his cause. They say he was tired of being hunted by fame, by enemies, by forces he once called the industry of death. Some even claim he spoke of faking his death months before the shooting, inspired by Niccolò Machiavelli, who wrote about how a leader might fake his death to strike at enemies from the shadows. But if Tupac truly escaped, where did he go? Rumors swirled of a quiet villa in Cuba. Others pointed to sightings in South Africa. Grainy footage appeared online showing someone who looked just like him, walking with a limp, wearing a hood, always looking over his shoulder. In one clip, the man turned to the camera, then disappeared into a shadowed alley. The resemblance was haunting. And then there were the dreams. Fans from all over the world began to report the same vision. Tupac, standing in a doorway filled with red light, saying only one phrase, "You still hear me, don't you?" Some say the voice comes during sleep. Others swear it plays softly beneath old tracks, like a hidden frequency reaching out through time. Whatever the truth is, one fact remains: the body was never truly seen. And until it is, the question will remain: was Tupac buried, or reborn into something none of us understand? Years after Tupac's supposed death, the music didn't stop. In fact, it multiplied. Albums, verses, remixes, unreleased vocals, each one darker, more cryptic than the last. Tracks appeared out of nowhere with lyrics that seemed too current, too aware. And then came the whispers that Tupac was still writing, still recording. From somewhere far beyond the reach of cameras or satellites, one theory rose above the rest. He had escaped to Cuba, hidden by those who owed loyalty to his mother, Tupac Shakur, who had deep revolutionary ties. Some say Tupac lived under a different name, protected by locals, watched over by a small circle who understood his mission. They claimed he was not running from the law, but from something far worse. Over the years, strange recordings began to surface. One of them, a low-quality audio clip leaked online, was analyzed by sound engineers. What they found was disturbing. The voice matched Tupac's almost perfectly. But more than that, it carried a signature, frequency identical to his early studio work, something almost impossible to fake. The voice on the recording said only this: "I told you I'd be back." In another video, filmed secretly in a South American alleyway, a man with identical tattoos and the same raspy voice could be heard rapping under his breath. When confronted, he turned and vanished into the crowd. The footage went viral. Fans were divided. Some believed it was a look-alike. Others swore it was him and that he was sending a signal. But it wasn't just video or audio. There were dreams. Dozens of people from different parts of the world began reporting the same nightmare: a glowing desert, blood in the sand, and Tupac's voice echoing through the heat. Don't trust the light. Many of them had never met. Yet they described the same setting, the same message, the same fear. Paranormal researchers who studied these accounts suggested something chilling: that Tupac had become more than man, that by escaping death or by being consumed by it, his consciousness had broken through to something else, a thin place between worlds, a signal that now moves through our reality, carried by his music, hiding in frequencies, waiting to be unlocked. If that's true, then listening to Tupac now isn't just nostalgia, it's contact. Some voices don't fade with time. They echo, they haunt, and sometimes they come back. In the years since Tupac's disappearance, strange things have happened to those who try to dig too deep. A journalist researching unreleased recordings vanished during a trip to Havana. A producer who claimed to hold the last real verse from Tupac died mysteriously days before revealing it. Fans report sudden chills while listening to his tracks, alone at night, especially on vinyl. One listener described hearing an extra verse, playing in reverse, words not on any known recording. The voice said, "You shouldn't be here." Others claim they've seen his reflection where it shouldn't be. Mirrors, glass water, always watching, always silent. As if something is still tethered to this world, still searching for a way back. Was Tupac cursed by the truths he tried to speak? Or did he willingly cross into something deeper, beyond fame, beyond life, beyond even death? Some believe that every time his music is played, it opens a small door, a frequency, a channel, not to the past, but to whatever he has become now. And if you feel something watching you as this video ends, maybe that's not your imagination. If this story gave you chills, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Comment below. Do you believe Tupac is still alive? Or did something darker take him? Turn on notifications, because the next episode might be even closer to the truth than you're ready for.